Hello and welcome to Saturday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic. Whereas we sometimes do on Saturdays, we're going to segue slightly from the world of variant Sudoku and into the realm of variant logic puzzles and have a look at a puzzle called Fillomino Knights by Die Hard, which has got a really simple rule set actually. And apparently this is a lovely puzzle. And if you don't know what Fillomino is, do not worry, I will read the rules in a moment or two's time. But this is Fillomino with a knight's move constraint as well, so a little bit of chess thrown in. And apparently it's not too difficult. I am assured. I don't know. Well, actually, hang on, that reminds me. Yesterday, Icy Fruit claimed that this puzzle was 3 stars out of 5 for difficulty. Let me tell you, it is not. It is not. I feel very confident, having looked at the comments on yesterday's video, that my hour and 15-minute long solve was not utterly dreadful. But I will tell you, this is a spectacularly clever puzzle. One of the shortest rule sets we've ever featured. The basic rule is that three adjacent digits on a line have to sum to a multiple of 5. And that's it. And it is a very good puzzle. Do check that out. Our Friday nights have always been our least popular night on Cracking the Cryptic, which I've always put down to the fact that people go out and go to parties and things. It's never been a problem for me, but I think sometimes people then catch up with the Friday night video a bit later on. I definitely recommend that you have a look at that puzzle if you've not had a chance to look at it yet. It really is that good. But before I read you the rules of Fillomino Knights, the most important thing to note is that it is the 1st of March today, and that means it is Patreon Reward Day. We have a brand new competition up and running over on Patreon. It is, why can't I click on it? Oh, there we go. Here we go. This is it. It's by Blobz. Blobz, who you may remember, if you've been a Patreon for any amount of time, you'll remember the Lord of the Rings Sudoku hunt, you'll remember the Hobbit Sudoku hunt. Well, this is the latest Sudoku hunt from Blobz. It's Nurikabe themed. Don't be put off if you don't know what Nurikabe is. Nurikabe is a wonderful logic puzzle, and but all of these are Sudokus. Having said that, they just build in a bit of Nurikabe logic on the way. Nurikabe, inspired by Nurikabe World, which is a game Mark and I streamed on the channel a little while ago. So do check it out. Do have a go. Plenty of time to enter it. The closing date is the 20th of March, and good luck to you all. Now, what else do I need to mention? I've got some birthdays to do today. Let me look at my list. We'll start with Logan. Logan in North Plains, Oregon, who's turned 28 today, and is having chocolate cake, I am assured. So, congratulations on your birthday, Logan. I understand you are a patron, actually. You're a patron over on Patreon, and you enjoyed the Hobbits hunt particularly well. There you go. There's a birthday present for you over there right now, and I hope you have a great birthday, obviously. Next, it's Kai's birthday, and I know this because your partner Jonathan wrote to us, Kai. And well, actually, it's not your birthday, is it? I've just realised you've just finished your PhD thesis last night, Friday night. That was the day. I think you had to hand it in. I'm not cognizant enough about how PhDs work. Do you submit the thesis and then you have to have a viva or something? Or maybe, is it, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's not automatic. I think the PhD has to be reviewed. Well, good luck with that if that hasn't happened yet. Your birthday was back in January. And I know that Jonathan was keen that I should shout out that as well. So Kai, congratulations on completing your PhD. I guess it's been a stressful few weeks, and happy birthday for January. Next, Gary. It is your birthday, I think, today. You're down there in Australia, and I know this because your girlfriend Ree wrote to us and basically said that she loves you very much and is so proud of how you've acclimatized to Australia, having been, I think you were in New Zealand before. That's not that far, is it? And I guess the cultures, am I going to get into trouble for saying this? I would guess cultures between Australia and New Zealand are quite similar. I love the Australian culture, and I've always assumed that New Zealand would be the same. I don't, how many people have I now insulted? I don't mean that to be an insult at all. I mean it to be a great compliment to both places. So I hope you take it in that spirit. And Gary, many happy returns. Next we'll go to Edinburgh, quite a long way from Australia. Where is it Michael? But it could be Mikhail. It could be Michelle. Well, your partner Ilva wrote to us and said that the two of you rather charmingly watch the videos every night over dinner, which I love that. you could watch EastEnders, or you could watch a good puzzle on cracking the cryptic. I know which one you should do. I'm going to say Michael, many happy returns, and I hope you have a great birthday today. And that's, I think, all the news. So let's have a look at Fillomino Knights by Die Hard, and I will read you the rules. It says normal Fillomino rules apply. Fillomino is where we have to divide the grid into regions of orthogonally connected cells. So what does that mean? That means that could be a region. But if we added that into the purple region, this is now not a purple region, because this purple only touches its purple friends at a point. It's not orthogonally connected. Orthogonally means basically shares an edge with. So we could add that one in, and now this is a region. And then what you have to do is you put a digit into each cell of the region equal to the region's size. So we'd write 7 into all of those. And then if this was a region of size 7, you could not have another region, let's say that one, into which we'd write. That is not allowed, because here you've got two regions of size 7 sharing an edge with one another, and that is expressly against the rules. Not just for 7, for you can't have if that was a 2 region and that was a 2 region, that's also absolutely unacceptable. In Fillomino, we have to, if 2 regions do touch, they can only touch diagonally like that. That would be okay. And that's how Fillomino works. We've just got to divide the grid according to those rules. Use only region sizes from 1 to 9. Okay, so that's important. How big is this grid? 4, 5 square, isn't it? Okay, so it is the same size as a Sudoku grid. But in theory, you can have gigantic regions absent this rule. You could have like a 28 size region, but not in this puzzle. We've only got the regions 1 to 9. And the digit n cannot appear in row n or column n. So that's why we've been given these things outside the grid. So you can't put the digit 1 in this column or in this row, and you can't put the digit 2 in that row or that column, digit 3, etc. So that's a rule. And then 2 digits separated by a black dot must be in a 1 to 2 ratio, so one digit will be double the other. So if this was a 2, this would either be a 4 or a 1. That's how black dots work. And then we've got a knight's move constraint, which basically says that 2 digits a knight's move apart must be different. So let's look at that square there. Now, whatever this is, if it was a chess knight, it could bounce around the grid to all of those squares, and therefore none of those green squares could contain the digit that we put in the purple square. If we were to make these 2 digits the same, that would break the rules of the puzzle. And they are all the rules. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. So, how are we going to get cracking? We're going to say, well, I know how I'm going. Oh, there's 2 things I'm going to do to get cracking. I am going to put a board around the edge, because someone the other day said that when I was dividing a grid into regions, I should always start with the external border, because the people who have sort of who get very concerned about such things are troubled when I miss out a border region. So I can do that, can't I? That's a region of size 1. So all we've got to do now is to pick a colour. We'll have dark green. So now none of these can be a single-sized region. I.e., none of those can be a 1. Now, what is the idea here then? Is it the black? Right, so hang on, let me just get my head around the rules. We can't have massive regions. The highest size region is 9. And if we did have a region of size 9, it could never hit any of those squares. And then we've got black. We have got black dots, but none of them are Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, so look at this column. Right, that is in column 4. So in terms of black dot digits that we could have in Sudoku, it's maybe worth just refreshing our minds. There are 3 digits that can simply never go on a black dot because they just don't work from a Sudoku perspective, or even a Fillomino perspective in a 9x9 grid that can't have any regions higher than size 9. Because if we did put a 9 here, this digit, which is either going to be half 9 or double 9, well, it can't be half because that's not an integer, and it can't be double because there are no 18 size regions. So 9 doesn't work. Neither does 7, because that would be 14 or 3.5. Neither does 5, because 2.5 and 10 are ruled out. So the only digits that we can put on black dots in this puzzle, and indeed in a Sudoku puzzle, or any normal Sudoku puzzle at least, are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 8. But in this puzzle, we can't put a 4 in column 4, can we? So the pairs of black dots we could construct would be a 1-2 pair. We can't have a 2-4 pair. We can't have a 4-8 pair. We could have a 3-6 pair. But okay, and on that one, we can't have a 3-6 pair. So that one's only 1, 2, 4, and 8. And this one, this cell can't be 4 because it's in column 4. So that is 1, 2, or 8. And if it was 8, it could never hit this row. And that can still be 4 because that can be... No, that can't be 8 because that would need to be 4. Okay. So this one... Oh, and then we've got the Knights move, haven't we, as well? So this one and this one can't be the same. Oh, maybe it's this. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm floundering around here trying to spot what's going on. But here's a thought. Oh, no, it doesn't work. I was going to say that the relationship between those squares and those squares is quite often interesting in a Knights move puzzle. Because, although the Sudoku doesn't work, though, hang on, this is really weird. What I was going to say, in Sudoku, this purple pair couldn't contain either of the digits in the orange pair because this digit would see that one in its column and that one by Knight's move. But of course in this puzzle we're not allowed to do... Well, it isn't a Sudoku, so I can't say if that's an 8 that that's not an 8 because that's just not how the rules work. Yeah, similarly, if that was a 4, that could absolutely be a 4. If they're in the same region, or even if they're not in the same region. I would know if that was a 4. All I'd know is that one couldn't be a 4, which I'd know anyway because it's in column 4. Oh, okay, hang on. So what I'm concluding here is that I don't understand this part. I don't understand how to start it. Am I being dim here? Whole chorus of people in the future go, yes, you're being dim. Why am I being dim? Hang on, do I know if I missed a rule? Don't think I've missed a rule. Do digits separated by a black dot must be in a 1-to-2 ratio. Let's move. Oh, and there was... Yes, okay, there was... The other rule is that... Yeah, okay, so I can... Okay, so I can see something. This square is under pressure. What I was thinking is that this had to be in a region. This has to be... In fact, it's under massive pressure. This has to be in a region that is not a size 1 region, so it's growing somehow, isn't it? But what I've just realised is it also can't be the digit 2. And it also can't be the digit... Oh, well, no, it could be the digit 3, actually. I was going to say it couldn't be the digit 3, but it can be. I was going to say, because if it was the digit 3, obviously this cell, the region, would have to be size 3, yet couldn't bump into those squares, so it would actually be sort of corralled into the corner. Okay, sorry, I was going to say that this had to be a really big number, but actually it could be 3. If it's 4, actually, how is this 4 ever? Because if it's 4, it can't go into those squares. Let's just block those off. Hang on. So what I'm saying is, if that square is a 4, it's impossible. Because you can't... You can't make a shape that isn't a knight's move away from itself. What do I mean? I mean, we've got to decide how to grow this. And however I grow it, it's always going to sort of be that sort of shape, isn't it? And then, so if it was that shape, and I filled it with 4s, these two 4s are a knight's move apart. Okay. Right. So, and if it was 5s, let's just think about 5s for a moment. Yeah, there's a weird thing here, isn't there? Because it's really strange. How could you make this anything, actually? I now think this is a 3. I don't think it can be a big digit at all, because I can't see how to grow it. You know, it can grow a bit, or it could, but it can't. It can never do. You can never have a shape ever in this puzzle that has this as a part of it. That's absolutely impossible. Because obviously those two would then connect. So the only way you can have a big shape is if it's a straight line, I think. If you have a straight line, obviously that is not a... But that's going to run into... Yeah. Okay. So in terms of... If we think about the digit 5, what I'm thinking about is the pentominoes that can be constructed, because, you know, U pentomino, Y pentomino, that's got that in it. N pentomino, that's got that in it. T pentomino, P pentomino, they've all got that shape in. Well, I is possible. X is possible. Let me just look at my keyboard. What other... Oh, F. No, F must be impossible. Yeah, F's impossible. P... L is just impossible. L is this shape. V is impossible. Yeah, okay. So if that's a 5 in the corner, well, it can't be a 5 in the corner, because a 5 in the corner would have to be a straight line 5, because it couldn't be the X, and you can't put 5, a straight I pentomino, anywhere in this puzzle, because where are you going to put an I pentomino that doesn't hit these black markers? which mark column 5 and row 5. There is nowhere. That's absolutely not nowhere to put that. So that's definitely not a 5. Now, if that's bigger and it's 6, I think it's the same problem. Yeah, it is I might be going as far as to say it is impossible to have a size 6 shape in this puzzle. Because again, I mean, if we shift these over slightly, it's a wacky idea, this. But obviously a straight, if that's straight, it's going to bump into the black lines, which it's not allowed to do. And whatever shape we draw that the 6 is part of, wherever we draw the 6, it has to never contain that shape. And I think, actually, that shape, which is sort of the bare bones of a 5 shape, you can't add to it anywhere. You can't add, yeah, I mean, that's quite an interesting way of thinking about it. No jokes about me, please. But how do you grow that shape in any direction with an orthogonal connection? There is nowhere to grow it. You add that, it's a knight's move away. You add that, it's a knight's move away. That isn't orthogonally connected to it, but couldn't be added to it anyway, because it would be a knight's move away. So I'm now going to go even further and say that this puzzle is entirely made up of small shapes, and if it has a 5 pentomino in it, it is that shape. And if it has a 4 pentomino in it, it cannot be that shape, or that shape actually. So if we're playing Tetris, what can we have? We could have, can we have, yeah, you can have that shape. And you can have a T tetromino, can't you? That's not a knight's move away from itself. And then a 3 shape can never get a knight's move away from itself. It's not quite long enough, is it? Whatever shape we draw. Right. So there is... Oh, no, okay, so there are 2 shapes of 4 pentominoes, or 4 tetrominoes, which are the sort of O and the T. There's 1 shape of 5 pentomino, and there are no 6s, 7s, 8s and 9s in this grid, so we can immediately get rid of 8 from here. We can immediately get rid of 6 from here. Therefore we can get rid of 3. Therefore this is a 1-2 pair. Now we can have a 4 in 2 ways. Okay, but all of these now, we should just fill them all in. They're all 1-2 4s. So they've always got 2 on them, have they? Hang on, have I missed an option here? I don't think I have. I don't think you can have a size 8 region at all. You can't have a size 6 region at all. Therefore, I can't put 3 on a black dot at all. Therefore, every single black dot has a 2 on it, and is either a 1-2 pair or a 2-4 pair. Now, am I allowed to do... Am I allowed to do some sort of knight's move stuff here? If that's a 2, that can't be a 2, so this would be a 2. If that's a 2... No, then that can be a 2. No, I can't do it. Alright, let's go back to what I was thinking about this cell then. Because I think that's a 3. I think it's a 3. I think that's... Well, and that's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. The reason I think it's a 3 is if it's a 2, it bumps into either row 2 or column 2. So it's not a 2. If it's a 4, it's a T or an O, which it can't be. And if it's a 5, it has to be an X, which it can't be. So it's only a 3. And that's a small win for the goodies. Right, and now this square is under pressure, because this square can't be a 1, it's in row 1. It can't be a 3, it's next to a 3. It can't be a 5, because you can't put an X, which, remember, an X is this shape. That's the only 5 pentomino I believe we can put in the puzzle. So that can't go there, because it would bump into something. And if it's a 4, it has to be that shape, which would bump into column 4, or it has to be that shape, which would bump into column 4. Or you can't do it, because it would have to be... Oh, I've missed an option. I hadn't thought of this. A straight 4 would have been possible, but isn't possible there, because it would bump into this. Yeah, actually, let me look at that. I hadn't thought of this. Right, so there are going to be places in this grid where you could put a 4 if it was a straight 4. So what I said before was wrong. I said a 4 was that shape only. That's not true. It could be that shape, and that could go horizontally there. I just didn't see it, which is a worry. But it can't be a 4 here, because it would bump into this row or this. Yeah, I mean, if we look at, draw that black line and say, okay, that's a part of a 4, you can see it would have to be there, and those two would be a knight's move apart. So that's not 4, it's not 5, it's not 3, it's not 1, it is 2. And then it can't go into row 2, so it goes that way. So that's a new region. Let's draw that one in. Now I want to say, can I do that? Is that symmetrically the same as this? Can't be 3, it can't be 1, it can't be 5. Yes, it's exactly the same. That's a 2 as well. So what we're actually meant to... right, got it. Okay, and now this one sees that by knight's move, but we know there's a 2 on every black dot. So this is a 2, therefore it's a blue digit. It can't go there, or it would connect to its friend orthogonally. It can't go across the black dot, so it must go there. So that's a 2. In fact, I've just thought of another thing we could do, which would be probably prudent. We can do all of those to delineate boundaries. Now, bobbins. Oh no. Okay, are we going to get stuck now? That's a massive digit, because it can't be 1, 2, and it can't be 3, because it would be a knight's move away from itself. So that is 4 or 5. And if it's 4, it's not 4. There's no room for it, because 4, it can't go into those squares. It could only be 3 big. So that is a 5, which means it's an X, which is that shape. So that's a new shape we've just learnt straight away. It's a really cool puzzle, this, because the logic is weird, all caused by the knight's moves. So it doesn't work the way I thought it was going to work at all. Now, that cell is a 1. Because what else could it be? It can't be 2, it would be adjacent to another 2. It can't be 3 by knight's move. It can't be 4, it's in column 4. And it can't be 5, it's next to a 5. So that is a 1. Does that mean this is a 1 as well? I've got 2 marked into this as a possibility. If it was 2, it would go there. I don't see why that's impossible. What about that one? Oh, that's probably the symmetrical counterpart of this. It is, isn't it? It can't be 3 by knight's move. It can't be 2. It can't be 4. It's in row 4. And it can't be 5. So that's 1 as well. That's another win for the goodies. Now, where do you think we look next? Well, I think it's probably this square, because that's in row 1, and it's next to a 2, so it's at least a 3. It's not, and it's not 5, because 5 would force it to be this shape, and indeed it's a knight's move away. So it's so it definitely sort of creeps out of here, doesn't it? So this is 3 or 4. Now it could bump there. If it's 4, it would have to be that shape. I don't see what's wrong with that. If it's 3, it would have to be that shape. Ah, no, I see. No, it's not 3. Lovely. Remember, if it's 3, it can't ever go into row 3. So it has to be 4. And now we have to, and now I think we can use the principles we learnt before. It can't be a straight 4 because it would run into row 4. It can't be an O like that. So it has to be a wibbly one, and it has to be that shape. And that's, what colour should we make that? Orange, we've not used yet. So that's, oh, now I want to get rid of my red line. Oh, it's all going wrong. There we go. So can we perform that sort of trick again? I want to say here, this is a big number again. It's at least 3. It can't be 5. But it could be in that. It could go down there if it's part of a 4. And then it would have to be an O-shaped 4. And if it's not that, it has to be... Oh, that's a 1. So that's stopping that being a 1. I think that's important. If this was a 3... it would go there, and then it couldn't go into column 3, so it would bend, and this would need to be a 1. And it can't be. So this is not a 3, it's a 4. So let's just make sure we understand exactly where that 4 can't go. Yeah, imagine this wasn't a 4. It would then be a 2, and it would stick out like that, and this 4 would have to bend. And that's impossible because those would be a knight's move apart. So this is a 4, that is a 2, and the 4 shape must be an O like this. This is brilliant, isn't it? It's really interesting in a sort, and it's not that hard once you get your head around the fact it can't have any big regions in it. I love what's the wording of the rules? Use only region sizes of 1 to 9. Ha ha. Yeah. Okay. So this is a blue. And there must be a blue in one of those, so that's not a 2 or a 4. Oh, it's not a 2 because it's in column 2 anyway. So this is 1, 3, or 5. Oh, bobbins, I don't quite know what to do now. That digit is, it would be really good if it might have to be a 1. It can't be 2 by knight's move. It can't be 3, it's in column 3. It can't be 4 or 5, it's adjacent to them. And it's 1, and that's massive, look. Because that is forcing the nature of this, which now has to be 2, which means this is 1, so that's green. We can hive off that. That's been hypothecated. Now, does that mean that's 2? It means that's not 1, I suppose, by knight's move. I don't know. I'm not sure I do know. If this... Hang on, what's going on? How do we do this? I'm not sure. Does that... I'm not sure where to look, actually. I'm sorry. Let me just think about this. Where is the natural place to look? It's got to be a cell that sees a lot of numbers by knight's move, I would suggest. That is a blue cell. If that's a 2 now, that's a 4, but it's in column 5, so I think that's not too bad. If that's a 2, that's a 2, isn't it? Because if that's a 2, we know there's a 2 on every black dot. Oh, so hang on, how could that be a 2? Yeah, sorry, it's easy. This has to grow. It either grows like that or like that. So this can't be a 2. It's impossible. It would be next to another region of size 2. So that's 4, which... Oh no, hang on, I can't do Sudoku. I can knock 4 out of that one. That is a 2 now, because there must be a 2 across every black dot. So this is not a 2, and this is a 2, and that 2 can't go upwards. So there's a sort of northern boundary on this. We've done this 2. We've got a 4 in the grid here. And we know the shapes of 4. Well, it's got quite a lot of ways it could be formed, I think. Because I don't... Well, it could never get to here anymore. I suppose it could have done that, which is now off the table. This one is 3 or... Oh, it's... No, this one's 5. It can't be 1. It's next to a 2 now. It's next to a 4, and it's in column 3. That's a 5. Oh, that's massive. Sorry if that's been available for ages. I just didn't see it. So that's great because it gives me a 2 down here. We can make that blue. The corner digit is at least a 3 now. And can't be a 4 because it would run into column 4. So what is this digit? Is it 3? It can't be 1, it's in column 1. It can't be 2, it's next to a 2. It can't be 4, it would run into column 4. I think it's a 3. Which means that's a 3. Oh, that's another 3 in the corner. 3 in the spotlight, losing its position. It can't go into column 3, so it must bend. So we've got another 3 in the corner. So now, presumably, we look at this square, do we? That's got to be a 1, I'm almost sure. It can't be 2 by Knight's move. It can't be 3, it's adjacent to it. It can't be 4 because it would bump into column 4. And it can't be 5, it's adjacent. So it's 1, and therefore it's green. And that means we can do that. Now this 2 seems to have to go downwards. So that's a blue 2. Not a blue tooth, a blue 2. And therefore, I suspect at some point I'm going to have to fill these in actually. Because it looks like, I think there's more restriction in sort of the upper left. Well, there's more restriction when anything can hit these sorts of columns. These are not so restricted, except a 5 couldn't run into there, I suppose. Oh, this can't be 1. It's a knight's move away from itself, so that's a 4. So does that run into... Well, this 4 doesn't ever go... Neither of these 4s go outwards, because they would then see a different 4 by knight's move. So do these connect, I suppose? If they connect... Oh no, they could be a straight line. Ah, sorry. If they don't connect, what do they do? No, this one must go up. Because if it doesn't, it goes down here, it goes to this square. It can't ever go here. So its only option would be that shape, which isn't a legal 4 shape. So that is a 4. And now we could go here. And sort of mirror that one, couldn't we? But I think we could go there or there as well. I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure how that one grows. So we're going to have to look somewhere else. Okay, we shall look at... Where do you think? maybe that square. Okay, what is that? Now, that can't be, it could be 1, I think. It can't be 2, it would see that 1. It can't be 3, it's in row 3. It can't be 4. Could it be 5? If it's 5, it would have to be exactly there. But because it couldn't be here without bumping into column 5 and row 5 for that matter. I suspect that's impossible, but I can't see why. Okay, let's try that square. That's got to be a big digit, hasn't it? Ah. Right, I know what this digit is. Because, let's go through the options. It can't be 1, it's in row 1. It's next to a 2, so it's not a 2. It sees a 4 by knight's move. So it is 3 or 5. But if it's 5, it's exactly that shape, isn't it? And that's this cell in the corner would have to be a 1 in row 1. That doesn't work. So that's got to be a 3. That's really annoying because I don't think that's very helpful. Okay, does that one also have to be 3 now? If that was not 3, what would it be? It can't be 1. Oh, it could be... No, it can't be 2. It would go into row 2. And if it's 4, it would have to be that shape, which would cut off the 3. And it can't be 5 because it can't be an X. So that is a 3 in the corner. So I've got another 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. Okay, so now this square's under more pressure than it used to be. It now can't be 3 anymore, if it ever could be, because it would see a 3. So that is 1 or 5 again. Same as this. Oh, so this is, maybe this is right. I'm not sure. Okay, and do we know? We know there's a 2 in one of those. If that's a 3, that would have to be... See, that could be a 1, I think. If that's a 3, what's this? Yeah, okay. In fact, what is this? Maybe that's the question. It could be 1, couldn't it? 1? Can't be 2 by knight's move. Could be 3. Can't... Oh, can it be 4? I didn't think of that. Because it doesn't actually see 4 by knight's move. Oh, sorry, no, that's a... I'm not even pencil marking it. I think I think that's not the cell. Okay, this one is interesting as well. That's 1 or 5. It sees 2, 3, and 4 by knight's move. So it does look like this is going to be a 5, doesn't it? Golly gosh, okay. Alright, what's this digit? That's not 1, it's not 2, it's not 4, and it's not 5, so that is 3, definitely. It's just a case of picking up the right cell to look at. And is that the same? No, we can't play the... Oh no, hang on, what's that? Oh, that could be 1. That could be 1. Can't be 2. Oh, that can be 4. That can be 3, 4, maybe... No, it can't be 5, because it would fence in the 3. 1, 3, or 4. Sorry, that's useless, isn't it? Oh, bother. Sorry. What about... Okay, this one now. That one, it can't be 2. It can't be 3. It can't be 4. So that's 1 or 5. It can't be 5. Aha. Okay, that's a 1. There we go. Now, is that useful? It would be useful if it saw any other cell that I had marked up, but I don't think it does. Bother. Okay, can we do a similar trick? I don't know that we can. That one can't be... It could be 1, it can't be 2, it could be 3, I think. Can't be 4. Can it be 5? No. No, it can't be 5 because it would be that shape. And that's not going to work with this cell. So that's 1 or 3. It's a lot, I think it's just a lot less constrained in this bottom right hand corner. I would very much like to know. I'd love to know if this is a 5 and there's some reason I'm meant to know that. I'd like to know what that reason is. That cell's under pressure as well, isn't it? That sees 2, 3 and 4 by Knight's move, so that's 1 or 5 as well. So it definitely looks like it's... So if... Hang on then. If this is a 1, then that's a 5, and that cannot be true, can it? So that is a 5, and once that's a 5, we can't run into row 5, so it must go up from there, so it has to be that shape. So that's a 5. We have actually proved it now. I think that was probably a much easier way of doing it than the way I've just found, but anyway, that is a way. And now I've got to deal with this nonsense at the top. Well, I must have a 2. This must be a 2, because there's the 3 is going to take one of these 2 squares, and there's going to be 2 squares left over. Oh, could it be double 1? Ah, I didn't think of that. If this is 3 and it goes double 1, that might be fine. Is there? Oh, yeah, in fact, that is what it does. If that's a 2 and it goes up, it's going to hit that one. Those 2 are going to hit each other. So that must be 1. That must be 1. That must be 3. This is very nice indeed. It's not monstrous, but it is lovely. Now we know that's a 2, which is blue. So we know this is not a 2, and it's not a 5. So let's look at the options. It's 1, 3 or 4. It's not 1, it sees that. So it's 3 or 4? Does it see 3 or 4? Of course it doesn't. Bother. Okay, what about that one then? That, see, that one could be 1 again. It can't be, or 3. Can't be 4 and 5. And it can't be 2 because it would see that. So that's 1 or 3. Alright, let's try this one. That's not 1. That's definitely not 1. It's definitely not 4. It's definitely not 5. So that is 2. It's not 2, is it? So that's 3. Okay, is that definitely true? Yes, that is definitely true. So this is going to bump into this. Still don't see what... I mean, it means that's a border. Yeah, this square now sees 2, 3, 5 and 4, so that has to be a 1. Now, does that help us is the next question. I don't know the answer to that. Oh, I know what's going to happen here. Is that going to be a 5 as well? It wouldn't surprise me. Look, we've got this sort of nice tiling pattern going on, if that's a 5. Okay, how are we going to work that out? We're going to work that out by that square is either 1, 2 or 5. Is there anything we can do? It's in row 7 and column, column 7 and row 7. I just don't think that the row number thing is going to be helpful anymore. What about that square? 1, 3, it's not 5, 1 or 3. So if that doesn't work, it doesn't work for this to be 1, does it? Because if that's 1, that has to be 3, and there isn't the space for it. So that has to be 3. So that's 3. I'm not sure that means that this is necessarily 3, but it could be. Does that put more pressure on this digit? So that digit is now, could be 2, I think, can't be 4, could be 5. But it can't be 3 or 4 or 1, so that's 2 or 5. Yeah, interestingly though, that's not 2, is it? This is it. That's really nice. Because this is growing and it's going to go there or there, and whichever way it goes, it sees that square. So that's a 5. And therefore, there's only one shape it can be. It can't go into that square. So it's got to be those. That's another win for the goodies. Those are 5s. Okay, so this, right, that 3 has to go downwards. It can't go there, so it must go there now. So the 3 shape, whoopsie, gets finished. Which makes this a 1. Which means that's a 2. That 4 has to grow, that 3 goes in there. And that's another little series of wins, isn't it? And that can't be 3 anymore. It would see its friend. So that's a 4. Now we have to make sure this 4 shape is legal, which it won't be if the 2 goes downwards. There's no way to construct this so it wouldn't see a Knight's Move version of itself. So the 2 must go there, and the 4 now has to be one of those 4s. So we've done another little bit, and it looks like we're going to be hopefully closing in on a solution. Are we going to have another 3 in the corner? Probably. It would have to be a straight up 3. This digit is a 3. That digit is a 3, I think. It's not 4 or 5 by Knight's Move. It's not 1 by Knight's Move. It can't be 2 because this 2 is going to grow and we'll touch it. So it is 3. So that's 3. Oh no, is it ambiguous? No, it's not. It's not ambiguous, because if the 3 bent here, it would see a Knight's Move version of itself. So the 3 does go down to the bottom. Actually, let's do that digit last, because it will please me to do that. So we're in this world. I've probably missed a boundary somewhere. If I have, forgive me, because now I think we just do that. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. And that is, I think, the solution to the puzzle. Yes. The solution code is the 4 corner digits in any order. Oh, I see. 4 3s. In any order, indeed. That's lovely. Absolutely lovely. A really... oh, I can see I've missed borders there. That's unforgivable. Puzzle was practically unfinished. Anyway, yeah, I really like the sort of... It feels like a discovery that Die Hard has had. That actually, it's very difficult to make Fillomino shapes of any size if there is a Knight's Move constraint. You basically just have to have... you just have to have straight lines of digits, and then once this idea of, okay, you can't overlap with your row or column number is added in, it becomes incredibly difficult to do anything. And this sort of tiling effect happens. It's very, very clever. Lovely idea. Really enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.